They ain't wasting no time. They got right into it. Leon's on the Ave selling her one tooth that she lost from her mouth after smoking that rock. She sees Leon, Leon and his crew, they going out to eat at a burger joint. And it's not, and this is my thing. Have you noticed that in every LA hood movie that one of the first shootout scenes or the last or whatever is at a burger spot? Have you noticed that? It's not an LA hood movie or a film show, whatever it is. It's not that if you don't have a shootout scene by the burger shop, all right? But yeah, they going to get something to eat. Scully's in the cut already plotting. They don't waste no time. Scully sees them, wasting no time, starts dumping. Wanda gets hit. Now, I said in one of my predictions, I said that Wanda isn't going to get killed. But I didn't know that she was going to get hit, though. I didn't know. But she didn't get hit pretty bad. She didn't get hit that bad, but she got hit. And that took like a toll on Leon, because Leon has feelings for Wanda. Like, let's just keep it real. He loves Wanda. He loves him some Wanda on there. He loves her. So they end up at the hospital. Franklin gets word of it. And, Franklin, he just, busting some cheeks, breaking some backs, even though he's broken himself. He's all up on Tanashi, digging it out and grinding it out. And so her voice message machine is some of her homegirls calling her, talking about, oh, they shot up the burger joint. And then she ain't paid no mind. And then Franklin gets the call on his beeper. And so he heads down to the hospital with Leon. And this is what I said. This is what it didn't happen this episode, but this is what's going to happen. This is what I said might happen, the idea of it. I said Franklin and Leon, they're going to see each other again in this episode. And they're going to at least talk about getting back at Scully. At least Franklin did. He's the one that brings it up. He brought it up and said, yo, we're going to have to get at Scully. We're going to get at Scully. We can take him down together. But somehow, Leon looks at him like, dude, you the one who got me into this. You the reason why they coming after us. Franklin doesn't disagree. He doesn't deny it at all. Expect an alliance to come soon. Okay? What I said in my last video, it stands. It's valid. Trust me, they're going to come back together. Trust me, they're going to come back together. But right now, Leon is hurt right now about Wanda. He doesn't like it. And now he wants Scully's head. So him and Fatback start talking about what they're going to do to get Scully. And so Franklin is warning Leon. He's been to the bottoms. They armed over there. Scully and them and they gang do not play. They the Bloods, This is the Bloods and the Crips. Scully and them, the bottoms, they do not play. They heavy firepower. Crazy. Just, you don't want to just go down there just acting a fool. You'll get buried. And so Leon talks to Fatback. They start talking about hiring a private investigator to scope out Scully and how they going to get him. And so, they go to the private investigator. They pay him under the table. Yo, snap some pics. Snap some pics of your boy Scully, man. But also Leon listens to Franklin. He takes his word for it and says what Franklin said to him. He said, yo, take your pictures and get up out of there before you get steamed down. That's supposed to just snap. And get up out of there. Don't make it hot. Mind your business, all right? Before you get steamed down, all right? Yeah, that happens. And so, later on in the episode, Franklin and Sissy, they go to meet with Paul Davis. Paul Davis shows his gratitude for Franklin selling a bookstore to him to get the cops, get that bitch ass nigga Nixon off of Sissy's back and off of Franklin's back, because he was becoming a headache. I couldn't stand him. He's a racist. I mean, to be honest, if we're being honest, there's a lot of Nixons out here, and I wouldn't feel bad if they got deaded. I don't wish death on no one, but I wouldn't feel bad if they got deaded. But yeah, And Nixon, not Nixon, what's his name? I keep forgetting his damn name. Davis is a bit suspicious about Franklin, how he gets his money, knowing that Davis actually had to earn his money the long way. It took him a long time to get his money, and so Davis is kind of frowning upon Franklin how he got his money so fast. And so they make a deal on the businesses, get an 18-month loan, and so they go from there. Reed, your boy Reed Thompson. I don't know about him. We look at him as a CIA dude that can get away with a lot of stuff. But I think it's starting to look suspicious on Reed's behalf. Because Reed, when dude, Mayor, I think that's his name, he comes in and you say, why is it taking this so long for you to complete the mission? Reed, he slithers his way out, as usual, with that smart mouth he uses. And Half Mayor is a bit concerned about what happened in Mexico when him and Gustavo went in there Call of Duty style and just deaded a bunch of niggas. Just deaded them on some Terminator type shit, right? And so he's a bit concerned about what's going to happen when the police find out, the investigators. And Reed told him, man, don't even worry about it, man. You just make sure they get them off our back, all right? Get them off our back, and we can continue to do this. And I noticed that Reed also brings up Javi's name. And so maybe I wasn't paying closer attention, but I think Reed's going to turn on Javi sooner before Franklin, because he's getting fed up with Javi, because Javi be bullshitting. He really be bullshitting. And Reed is getting frustrated. He's fed up with Javi. He wants his weapons. Now he wants to win this war. Then later on, we get to Irene. Irene, like I said in one of the videos, I think, Irene is based off Gary Webb. Gary Webb was an investigator. He was a journalist, and he exposed the CIA for bringing coke into America. And Rick Ross was the one that became one of the first names to be displayed. And it was so I think that's what her character is based on. She's calling, making all these different calls. She goes to this woman, I forgot her name, and she says, why don't you go back to Alton shelter? You got a drug dealer for a son. He has his own shelter. Get some information out of him. She goes down there, tries to get information out of him. He doesn't budge. What she's going to do, I feel like she's going to be the one I think she's going to be able to expose everything, lay everything out on the table. Now back to Franklin. Sissy is doing what she knows. She used to work under a landlord to evict people out. So she knows the ins and outs about real estate. So all these business ventures that she's doing with Franklin, she is trying desperately to get him out the streets. But Franklin, on the other hand, he's gotten too greedy. He's getting greedy. He's getting selfish. He's becoming a narcissist. You can see it in his eyes, like the money is messed up. In the first episode, when him and Leon first fell out, he said, money got your head all fucked up. And we're starting to see it. Each episode, we're starting to see that Franklin is becoming power hungry, money hungry, selfish, and a narcissist. And that's it. And it's not going to end well. It's not going to end well for him, the people that's close around him, his family, his loved ones. It's going to take a toll. Later on in the season, somebody that Franklin loves or care for the most is going to be out of here. It's not looking good for no one. If you messing with Franklin Saint right now, it's not. And they would meet up with Scully. He's having lunch with his friends, his gang, and the private investigator is in the cut, snapping up some shots, getting hideouts, figuring out where they stay at, where they eat at, where they live, where they rest their head at. He's snapping shots, and the camera angle makes it seem like Cornrows caught the private investigator. Is looking towards the private investigator's direction. He starts getting nervous. He was shook, but then it turns to find out he was hollering at some shorty across the street. And so that was a really close call. And then we get to your boy, Gustavo. Also violent. He goes to his brother's He goes to his brother's wife's sister's house, about to give her some money. And, you know, I think that she'd probably have a little bit more gratitude towards Gustavo for avenging their death. But he gives her the money and she's talking some shit like, I don't need your money. Why would I stop my life to raise my dad's sister's kids? And I thought that was really selfish, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't right. Just take the money. Raise the kids. Like, that's what you have to do. That you don't have to do it, but that's what you should do. And Gustavo was looking at her like, what? And he went back to his nonchalant ways, left the money there. But then as the camera angle took that little focus shot, you can see her eyeing the money that, let me take this cash real quick, because, you know, you never know. Then we get to Wanda and Leon in the hospital. She's going crazy when she wakes up. Leon's calming her down. He tells her, he leans over and tells her, yo, after you get clean and out the hospital, I don't want nothing to do with you. But Wanda, you know, he's always going to have a soft spot for Wanda. No matter how hard he talks, no matter how tough or whatever, there's going to be a soft spot for Wanda. Wanda tells him, yo, can you please stay with me? Just stay with me. And what does Leon do? He takes off that jacket and stays with her. And so we get to your boy Alton at the shelter. You know, he's at the homeless shelter. One kid's father, who's hung up on that on that stuff, on that rock, comes in, cracked up, dirty, disgusting looking. Don't even care for his kids. And the kid's mad at his father, like, yo, this is your daughter that you left behind. You left us for that rock. He's about to fight his dad. Alton gets in between, breaks it up. Talks to his dad. He said, yo, you're going to have to take care of your children or you're going to regret they're going to be away from you forever. So you got a choice to make. And so this is also what I like about Alton's character. The first season, we see him as a bum. He was a bum, drunk. But his story arc is impressive to me, and I'm going to tell you why. Normally in these kind of shows, the father who's a drunk, he's just a drunk forever. He may play a prominent role in the show, but he's just going to remain vilified, demonized, and everything. This story, they took the father, who was a Black Panther. He was a drunk in the first season. The second season, he straightens up, cleans himself up, becomes a better man, and he's back to himself. And that's what I liked about that. I like that they didn't go after, you know, Franklin's father isn't there in his life. The typical. This is why I love this show. It's not your typical show. It's very well written. And so he breaks that. They break that up. And so, you know, then we get to Irene. Irene meets up with the CIA officer. I forgot his damn name. I think it's William Marino. Yes, William Marino, if I'm not mistaken. And he already came to terms that Lorraine is dead. She's out of here. She's gone. She's gone. She's out of here. She comes to terms with that. It's over. He comes to terms with it. And he says, he's like, as painfully as I would hate to come to terms with it, I'm going to assume that she's dead. Irene wonders, like, yo, what? How the fuck he get in my house? Well, he's a CIA officer. I don't know, but he hands her a file full of information, and as she opens it up, we can see the little shot. We get a little glimpse of Reed Thompson's face. We didn't get a close shot of it. You gotta be quick with it. So it was like for a split second, it showed a picture of Reed Thompson's face. And you remember, like I said, for like the third time, she's based off Gary Webb. And so he's wondering who's protecting Franklin Saint. How was he able to beat a murder charge after a federal agent was the witness and brought him to justice? How? Well, we all know how, but who's going to find out? And so it's going to have to be her, because again, her character is based off Gary Webb. And so he hands her this information. She's shocked. And so now his thing is, we're going to have to find out how the government is bringing all these drugs into the country. How are they doing what they're doing, and why? What's the point? And why is all these killings and all these drugs being in the inner cities? And so that's what they're going to investigate. And this is exactly what I like about Snowfall. Snowfall, they tell the truth. I don't see many flaws with Snowfall at all. I don't. They tell the truth. They stick to the main source material. They don't sacrifice a whole bunch of good storylines just for 20-second shootouts. It's not an action show, obviously. So I don't really understand, but I'll get to that at the end. Then we get to the tragic end. Leon and his crew, Eager Kid, Fatback, they scoping out Scully's place. Scully's crew pull up on Leon. They didn't even know who they was beside at first. The idiot pulls out the gun. Is that Leon? Leon's quick with it. They start Swiss cheesing each other up. Now, the Eager Kid, like I said, I was right. The Eager Kid was going to die. I said that. I said the Eager Kid is going to die, and he's dead. I was right. I knew it. I had a feeling because he wanted to be down so bad, but he wasn't built like that. He probably could have been built like that a long time, but he should have stayed in his little ass lane. And so now he's dead. I don't know who the kid behind the Eager Kid was, but I don't know. Rest in peace to him. But Leon and Fatback, they become the victors. Leon finishes the job, Swiss cheese the carb even more. Throws the Mac 11 away. We thinking, whoa, okay, all right. We's finna get to business. And then he hears a scream. And then we see the poor little girl dead in Khadijah's arms. Man-boy's sister, Scully's baby mother. She's crying and she's devastated. Leon is like, fuck. It gets bad. So Leon is sitting there in the Kodak moment. Fatback is like, yo, we got to get up out of here before the police come. They get up out of there. Khadijah is heartbroken. She is wailing over there. And Leon and Fatback, they drive away. And now Leon, he's torn. Okay? He may not act torn. He may appear to look a little shocked, but he's torn because he killed the little girl. But my thing is this. If you pull up to me, if I'm a gang member, and you pull up on me, and you start shooting in my car, I'm airing the whole thing out. I'm not thinking about no kids, and that was stupid of him to shoot, knowing that you got a damn kid. You thought out of impulse, so you got his kid killed. So it's sad, and I'm glad they involved this in the episode because this is how it was. This is how it was in the 1980s. 1980s gang violence was something. It was terrifying. It was serious. Kids were getting killed. Innocent bystanders were getting killed. Gang members killing each other. It was a bloodbath, and it still happens to this day. But I'm talking about the 1980s, the Bloods, the Crips, all the gang violence over this little drug and territory and stuff like respect. It was sad. It was a sad time. It was a real sad time. Oh, I also forgot to mention that Franklin starts talking about expansion. Selfishly, again, evil. Franklin is talking about going up to New York, Arkansas, other places to spread it. And if you watch season 1, he said, give them all the sample, a free sample, let them come back, then pay, just like how they did in the first season. Jerome is not feeling it at all. Jerome is not, he just wants to get back to his speakers. He don't want in no parts of the drug game. He used to sell his little weed. He got his money from the coke game. He just want to stick with his speakers. And he said, yo, why we got to do all this when we got a beef with Man-Boy and Scully and them? We got to handle them first before we be talking about expanding. Franklin selfishly like, whatever. We got to expand. And so now you see this guy, Franklin, He goes from being the good, innocent, smart kid to just being this. He's becoming more and more evil. It's devilish what he's doing. Now, as far as storyline, I'm with it. I'm like, yeah, Franklin, move that dope, nigga. Morally, in real life, I'm highly disappointed. Louis, she's with it. He tells Louis to go ahead on, make that transportation, and get it rocking. And this is how the transportation of drugs started filling other cities, other communities around the globe. Franklin takes a ride with Lerp, and Lerp says some real shit. He says to Franklin, I thought the money was worth it. And I thought it was wild overseas. And this is overseas talking about in war. War is crazy. War is hell. But how can anything else be worse than war? Well, as a black man, when you see your own black people, when you see your own people warring with each other, and it was taking a toll on Lerp mentally. And to be honest with you, I'm not mad at Lerp at all. Because at the time, if this was 2021, it'll be whatever, dude. Get with the program. But this is 1980 something where we really started to kill each other. You know what I'm saying? And so with Lerp seeing all this, he doesn't want no parts of this. It's too much. And Franklin, again, being selfish. Well, I can double your pay, and then after this is all done, you have my permission to join the fucking Peace Corps. I mean, like, bro, who the fuck are you, bro? Who are you? You see, the money is getting to Franklin's head, and this is why I keep mentioning the word selfish and associated with. Overall, Franklin is selfish. He's a narcissist, and he's a piece of shit, and he's my favorite character on the show. But his greed and selfishness is gonna get him into some deep mess that he may not even be able to climb out of. But overall, this episode was a 10 out of 10. It was informative, it was smart, it was compelling, it was sad, it was tragic, and it was authentic and real. And that's what I love about this show. I love that about this show, that it keeps it real and it tells the story responsibly, genuinely, and accurately. And it's one of the best shows I've watched on TV. And yes, I'm going to reach that high. I'm going to reach that high and say that. And I don't care what anyone says. But you let me know what y'all think in the comments. All right? What do y'all think? Drop them down below. And I'm posting this video up tomorrow around 5-ish. So be on the lookout. And then I'm going to post another video for the prediction of episode 5. So be on the lookout for it. With this video, when it drops, hit the like button, subscribe button. I'm out of here. Y'all have a good night and stay easy.